and then you can put the weight in between the tanks. Be a bit strong in the shoulders. We don't skip the echo. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Surface Interval. Today we're gonna talk about diving with doubles. I've been asked a lot why I prefer to dive with doubles instead of a single tank. Well, you have more gas. Reason number one, absolutely, you have more gas. You have a bigger volume, which means you can stay down longer. You can make more deep and longer dives. Independently, if you are carrying compressed air, nitrox, whatever you're diving with, it's more of it. You need this gas not only because your dive is planned with maybe deco stops and it's a bit longer, but also because you should always have enough gas also to bring up in the worst moment of the dive, which is basically the end of your bottom time, which means you have all your ascent, all your deco stops in front of you and your body. So basically, if something happens at the worst moment of the dive, so at the end of this deepest point in the dive, before you start your ascent, you should have enough gas to bring up safely with deco done, of course, because we don't skip deco, yourself and your body. So having enough gas is essential to prevent something that I hope will never happen and I wish would never happen ever in the history of diving, but it is a possibility, even though a small one. It still exists, so we need to consider it. So having more gas is not just good for you, for your dive, that can be longer, of course, and deeper, but also as a safety measure for your body. And I really hope your body thinks the same. I hope it for you guys. So diving with more gas is cool, but trickier, because of course you cannot just put your BCD around the double tank and go exactly with the same setup, because diving with doubles requires a different setup. Now, some people say that diving with doubles stabilizes you more. So, in all directions, of course, you should be more stable. Your trim should be improved. Now, I still can improve a lot. I'm not sure if that helped me in particular, but I know of people that felt more stable and felt like their trim improved with a double setup. Now you can have different type of double tanks, of course. As for single tanks, you can have bigger and smaller ones, and I think the smallest is like a 7.5 double, which means you have 15 liters with you. So actually is for the amount of air like diving with a single tank. The only difference is the setup, of course. That is more stable for some people, and that if you just have the setup for double tanks diving, then you don't need an extra one for a single tank. However, I myself don't think it's worth it. I'm gonna be very honest with you. It's not worth it to go with a double tank and bring with yourself just 15 liters. I would go for something a bit bigger. Just few liters difference, like the 8.5, which is the one I usually dive with, is a difference. But of course, if you make more intense dives, then the double 12, it's amazing. It's really heavy. You will have to consider that. The first time I wore a double 12 on my shoulders, I barely could stand. It was on a boat that was moving with the waves, and I was fully dressed, and the whole setup was 50 kilos, which is basically my body weight. So I was basically having another Laura on my shoulder and on my body with like all the rest, and I had to walk around the boat to enter the water. So yeah, I went to the gym this year and I really see the difference. No, just kidding. But like as soon as you get a bit used to the weight, it's really comfy. In the water is anyway comfortable because you don't really feel much. Of course, it's heavier than just diving at the sea where you have a tropical thin wetsuit and a single tank and nothing else. You will feel the difference, but it's not as heavy as outside, of course. So this is already a good improvement. Once you're in the water, it's not a problem, but you have a lot of gas with you. And now the things that you need to change is, for example, you need wings. So basically you're gonna have a backplate, wings, and then your tank. And the cool thing is, when I switched from the single tank to the doubles that had the backplate and a V weight, which is like a triangular weight that you can put in between these two tanks, I didn't need a weight belt anymore, which means my hips weren't hurting anymore after the dive because I didn't have any weights pushing on my bones or my fat, whatever. So I really love diving with doubles because I don't need a weight belt anymore, because the setup itself, it's a bit heavier, like the back plate is already around 2 kilos, and then the tanks are heavier, and then you can put the weight in between the tanks. So if you calculate everything together, it's actually heavier, but it's much more comfortable because all your weight is going to be on the shoulder, so you just need to be a bit strong in the shoulders and the legs, but you won't have anything pushing you on the sides. This is for me reason number 2 I didn't know about but discovered afterwards, and I'm really happy about it. Then of course, if you dive doubles, you will have 2 separate first stages that you would have anyway in cold waters, also on a single tank, because this is just a matter of safety. So you have always 2 separate first stages, but you will have them separate on the 2 tanks, of course. So you will have to set it up so that you have the right hose coming out on the right side. But this is a video for another time. Summarizing, for sure you have more gas, which is a really cool thing. For some people, you are more stable, your trim is better. For me, it's not heavy on your hips, but you can wear all your weights on the back, so it's much comfier. And fourth, I think it does look cool. So if you are thinking about getting into tech diving or not, don't care. Just wear that and you look like a tech diver, even though you have no idea what you're doing. If you have the chance, if you know someone that has doubles or could give you a hand trying out the double setup, I think it's something you should try. It's still back mount, so it's not much different once you have it on, but at the end you will barely notice it when it's on your back and you're in the water, of course. And if you have any question or comment to this, I would love to read it in the comment section below this video. See you next week.